In this video, I would like to show you what is still possible to propagate right the way through, even in the middle of winter. We will probably stop doing some cuttings once we get to middle of December, but here in the UK, in this tunnel, which is heated to 5 degrees centigrade, we can still do a lot of cuttings. Hello, I'm Rosie Hardy. This is Rosie Hardy Gardening. If you enjoy my gardening videos, then please do subscribe, as this really does help my channel. As you can see, I'm in our propagation tunnel, and here we have an array of cutting material that has been taken over the last couple of weeks. Now on this bench, which is a mist unit, it may go off while I'm standing here, but hey, it's only water. The actual benching underneath is heated to about plus 17 degrees Celsius, so they get nice warm bottoms. They are relatively dry through the day. If it's a darker day, it doesn't get as much misting on it, and if it is a warmer day and brighter, then the mist will come on. It will spray for about 1-2 seconds burst of mist, and that just keeps all of the cutting material, the leaf, damp, and it also keeps the surface and the compost damp, so that they are sitting in a really good situation. You will see all of these cuttings are covered in cork granules. Now this granule size that is on here is the 1 to 2 mil, and that is just keeping moisture in underneath. It's stopping all of the disease and everything else, because cork is really good as an antibacterial and fungicidal properties that it has in it, so we don't get any of that horrible green yucky mess that you can get. It also stops the shorefly. In front of me I've got things like Calamintha. They've been taken as top cuttings. We've got Heucheras. They've been taken as basal cuttings. We have Coronilla here. Again, that's been taken as a top cutting. Now Coronilla is a subby shrub, and this will keep on growing all year round, so you can take cuttings from that at this time. The Heuchera, it's really good to get that lovely basal cuttings from them, because they will take really nicely. The Calamintha, we will have stock plants of that, which will have been cut back and repotted at this time of the year. Any good material that was at the base will have been used as cuttings. Now these will all root down in probably 2 to 3 weeks, and then this benching through the middle of the winter will stay relatively empty, and the rest of all of our cutting material will be down on the ground hardening off. Once we get to somewhere around about February time, it will then go next door into the cold polytunnels, where it can easily get frozen, where it is fully hardened off before we can start potting it up. So there's a lot that can still be done. Now if you don't have a heated greenhouse, maybe you have a propagator with a light source, so either natural light or maybe some LEDs inside it, you can still be taking cuttings. But at this time of the year, through November and December, the key time and the key thing that we are doing here on the nursery is seeds, and it is the seeds that are really going to be taking off and doing a lot, because if you look outside even now, you will see lots of things germinating. So seed that you collected perhaps in the spring, you know, once things like Aquilegias have flowered and they've set their seed will be ready to be collected end of May, beginning of June. Those can be sown and they will be going on. There are other things that have seeded, and then there's plant material that has just seeded now, and it would just naturally disperse its seed out into the wild now. So we should be following that. We had to follow the cycle of how and when the plants, so they set their seed and it's ready and they disperse it, then it's the time to set the seed. So that is something we have to have a look at. We have to keep on going and sorting through. There are all sorts of other interesting things on here. There are Erodiums, Ageratums, there are Saxifragas, and you know, they all look really good at this time of the year. Let's have a little look at the seeds. If you enjoy learning about gardening from me, then why not take a look at my propagation workshop? This is an online course, and this is all about herbaceous perennials. So you are going to learn all of the skills that are required to propagate more plants from your garden for free. Propagation is a key skill in gardening, and this course is going to help you to be able to do propagation to a really professional level. For more information, please click the link in comments below, or you can scan the QR code on the screen right now. So here we have the seed trays, and you can see some of them are topped off with a slightly larger cork. This is 4 to 5 millimeter grade, and some are left uncovered. Now this is just completely dependent on the type of seed that is here, and some of these will have 2 labels in them. So for instance, we have this one here which says fridge week 50, out week 4, week 46. This is Gillenia stipulata. So basically this has been put onto the hot bench week 46. In 4 weeks time it's going to go into the fridge, and then it's going to come out. Probably it'll either go in the fridge, or if we have a really cold winter outside, this will go outside to get that cold that it requires. So that is something that needs that sort of treatment. So quite often some of the seeds need to come onto the hot bench first, and then they get put out into cold. Right at the back there we've got some Papaver which have just been scattered on the top of the actual bench. I'll just see if I can bring those over so you can see. So these Papaver, this is one that we will be doing for probably for a Chelsea garden. So this seed has been scattered just on top of the seed sowing compost, and it has started to germinate, as you can see. Now we'd expect a little bit more germination than that probably in the next week or so, and then we will actually start pricking it out, because we prick out quite small, and then we will put back onto the bench once pricked out just to see if we get more germination. So this one is really good. So look out for those plants at Chelsea Flower Show, because I know those are going there. So you can see all sorts of things here looking really good, and that is what happens with the seeds. Now once the seeds have germinated, then what do we do? These are germinated seeds which are all going to be pricked out, and we prick them out at quite a small stage. So the plants that you see in the trays over there are ones which have been pricked out recently. Lots of different things in here. We've got Lunarias, we've got Silenes, Pulsatillas. This which has germinated really well, that's a Digitalis. Digitalis are always great. And then this one, which I love, this is now how we do our grass seeds. It is so much easier. You just take the grass seed head and you lay it out on the compost like so, and where it sits, it then germinates, and you get this wonderful pattern of the germinating seed coming through the seed header, and that makes it so much easier to do that. That's a Calamagrostis there which has been sown like that. There we go. You can see how the seeds have germinated and they're just following where the seed head was put. That is a really simple way of doing it. So that is the grass, really looking good. Then we have the Digitalis. Look at these beautiful little seedlings. Now these are just about ready to be pricked out. This is a Lotus, hirsutus. And then further down, what did I mention before? I mentioned Silene, all looking good there. Pulsatilla. Pulsatilla slightly larger because they've been in and they've taken a lot longer to actually germinate. Lunaria looking really good there. When we have pricked out, we don't just discard the trays of plant material because some things germinate and we only need 50 of them and we might have 100 or so left seedlings. We leave these because our numbers can then change, Also, you might have a disaster. For instance, once the trays of cuttings or pricked out seedlings have been moved onto the ground, if we happen to get any vermin come in, so mice or any of those lovely little four-legged hairy creatures coming in, they might nibble all the tops off. So we always need to have a little bit of a security blanket with some of the seedlings kept so that we can prick them out. They're not too big yet, so that we couldn't prick them out, but we do like to prick them out really quite small. So you can see these have been pricked out here. This is what is left. Sometimes we don't keep everything in its whole tray, so we'll put half a tray in together. That means we don't have as much space to worry about. This one here, they've all been pricked out from there. There's a mass of seedlings here. This will just depend on numbers that we require. And again, here you go, another lot of beautiful grass that has been done. That is Stipa pseudo-ichu. And these ones you can see not as many left in there. Here we have the beautiful pricked out seedlings. So these ones have all been done in the last week or so. Lovely little things. They've got their seed leaves here and then their true leaf coming through there. That's when we like to get them pricked out. Some of them look quite small, but we have so much better success when you prick out at a smaller size. And these are done in trays depending on how many of each variety we actually want. Sometimes we'll have something like this, which is a Phoeniculum vulgare, which will germinate really, really quickly, but it's very difficult to actually just put just a few in. So we probably only need 12 of these, and they may have germinated probably something like 50. But as I say, we'll keep them until such time, because suddenly you may get somebody going, oh, can we have some of these? And then at least we've got them to go on through. So you can see they're really quite small. What's this? Digitalis here, and they're quite small ones. Let's have a little bit of a closer look. You can see there how small some of the seedlings are. And it's easy to see with the hardy geranium here, we have the seed leaf there. So it's a dicot, so it has 2 leaves, and then you have the first proper leaf here. Going from here, because these are just newly pricked out, going from this location, they will then all end up down on the ground for hardening off. Some of these are the older ones. We probably saw these in another tour. So these ones are looking really good at the moment going through, but we have got a lot of younger stuff. So here we have a lot of the younger stuff that has all been pricked out, and it is down on here. We've got primulas, we've got verbenas, there are campanulas, there are Cenolophiums, there are all sorts of different things, and they're just starting to come through here, all covered with the cork, and this will just help protect them. It gives them a little bit of extra insulation. They're on the ground in here. This tunnel is supposed to stay at +5 degrees centigrade. Occasionally it drops to about 3, but other than that, this is basically a frost free. Once they move next door to get properly hardened off, then they can go down to -5, -8 degrees Celsius, which if it is that low, we will then cover with fleece, because we don't want to kill them off, but we do want to get them hard enough so that they can then be potted on. So you do need to harden plants off unless you're going from heated to heated. We are not. We're going from frost-free to a tunnel that is cold, so therefore they have to have that progression, and that progression normally takes 2 to 3 weeks depending on the time of year. So they will go next door once they are bigger. So the first ones we saw, those will be the first ones to be moved next door. They will go next door. If we know it's going to be really cold, we will cover them with fleece and then take it off, and then we'll wait and we'll see how well they're doing. If they are, then the leaf seems to change. So it changes from being a really soft leaf to being just that little bit tougher. Once it's got to that stage, then we will start potting them up, and they will stay in the cold tunnel for about another 6 weeks and then outside. They've got to be tough. The last thing, which I'll just show you, these are trays of root cuttings. Some of them are putting on a little bit of top growth here, but underneath all of this cork here are root cuttings. They're nice little cuttings of roots all laid in here. Most of these are Centaurea. There are some Macleia in here and some chicory. So these are all going to sit here. These won't be done anything with these until we get into the spring, so probably February time. They have got a little bit of heat underneath them. They are watered from underneath, so they are just given a little bit of water from underneath. They do not get too wet. You lift the tray to see how heavy it is. You don't just blindly go and water. So that is another lot of material that we are doing propagation of now in November. We're probably just about at the end of the root cuttings, although having said that, she normally fills up the whole of this, so there will be some more coming on, and they are done as and when she prepares and redoes and repots the stock plants. So as the stock plants come in a batch, they get repotted up. She takes the roots off, does the root cuttings, plant is repotted, goes back out so that he can grow on and produce more for next year. These types of root cuttings are something that you can do at home. If you enjoy propagation, then do take a look at our propagation course. It will help you understand how to do different types of cuttings and when to do them. Hope you've enjoyed this little tour and what you can propagate in November. Please do subscribe to the channel. If you want to watch another video of mine, YouTube thinks this one is perfect for you.